Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mondays at Microsoft. I am Heather Cook, Principal PM on the Scale team at Microsoft, and this is the show where we help you start the week with the Microsoft news you actually need to know, including updates across Copilot, security, Power Platform, AI, and the Microsoft community. And I am joined by my teammate, Jonathan Jones. Good morning, Jonathan. Hello.
Good morning, Heather. Good morning. And
Hi.
excited to be here on another Monday, as always, here sharing the stage with you. I believe you just finally got home from some traveling to numerous events. You want to share a bit about that experience?
Yeah, you bet. Actually, I am home in the sense that I'm in my parents' home. So you're seeing my folks' kitchen here in Gig Harbor, Washington. So I'm coming to you from one of my homes. And then I was in TechCon Seattle this last week with a bunch of our teammates and our amazing Pacific Northwest community, and David and Sharon and Ashley and Liz who put on that show. It was awesome. It was so fun. I was the showrunner for Jason Moore, our vice president for Copilot Studio. We had a great keynote. It was awesome, and Jonathan, it was like so many new people, and people from all over the country.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, it was just super fun. Lots of new stuff around, obviously, Copilot AI, what's going on with all of our products, and then all of the Microsoft MVPs who were speakers. We had a Women in Tech lunch get together that was huge, and then we had a Women in Tech panel, and then an MGCI meetup. So just lots of cool, just great to hang out with people and talk.
Yeah.
It's at.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like a great time. I saw some of the photos. We'll be dropping those on, social later today. So be on the lookout for those. But yeah, absolutely looked like a great time. And glad you got to meet those new people and make those connections as always. Representing our Scale team.
Yeah, absolutely. We missed you there for sure. So yeah. And
I missed you all as well.
You have one coming up, right? You're going to Minneapolis, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. September 18th. I will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Twin Cities, giving a session on our community studio platform and storytelling around that. So yeah, very excited for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So shall we get into the rest of the show? Yeah.
Of course, let's do it.
Okay, let's get into it. So coming up, y'all, in today's episode, we will be joined by Microsoft agent expert Michael Holste, one of our favorites, to see how anyone can build an AI agent in minutes. We'll also look at how Microsoft and Mercedes-AMG PETRONAS are inspiring the next generation through STEM. And we'll explore how AI is helping protect one of the world's most endangered orca populations as well. Jonathan.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, Heather. And we'll also cover Microsoft's latest partnership with the Toronto Blue Jays and how technology is changing their fan experience. And we have a very exciting announcement for longtime Xbox players.
That's awesome. And lastly, we will finish with the Microsoft community, where to find us in person over the next few weeks, and the one event that I'd put on your calendar today.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, you can always catch Mondays at Microsoft every Monday, and we'll keep you connected to what's happening at Microsoft, the hottest topics, product demos, live guests, and more.
So we're going to dive into Microsoft's big rocks now that we have my mother's grandfather clock telling us it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So let's get into those big rocks. So our next story highlights how Microsoft is helping inspire the next generation of innovators through the power of STEM. So Microsoft and the Mercedes-AMG PETRONAS Formula One team have launched Driven by STEM, an initiative designed to connect students with real-world careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. So through hands-on experiences and stories from engineers, data scientists, and technology professionals, the program shows how STEM skills are used to solve problems both on and off the track. This is so cool. So let's take a quick look, because we have a video about how Microsoft and Mercedes-AMG PETRONAS are helping students imagine what's possible when passion meets innovation. Do-do-do. All right. I think, Aaron, do we have a video?
Oh. We're chasing every millisecond, and so it's all about thinking, how can we unlock performance at any moment?
We're able to bring together local students who need exposure to coding with the performance of F1 and the technology of Microsoft.
We're exposing our code art students to STEM careers that maybe they have never thought of or been introduced to. You just really never know where you might end up, and one small decision can actually change the entire trajectory of what you end up doing for your job.
So if you're creative and you're able to problem solve, then no matter what gets thrown at you, you'll be able to come up with a solution.
It goes a long way to speak up when you might not feel like speaking up. I encourage you all to work on confidence and go for your passions.
Today is a small step, but I hope the girls got a chance to envision a future where computer science is something obtainable, that's a career that they might be connected to.
Whatever passions you have, really go for it, and then you never know what doors might open up from that.
What a great example of learning in action. That was so cool. Thank you, Erin, for the video. You know, programs like this really help make careers in science, technology, engineering, and math more tangible, you know, by connecting the classroom concepts to real world challenges and opportunities. So to learn more about the program and explore the resources available, you can check out the AKA link below and get more information. You know, innovation isn't just about shaping the future of work and education. It's also about helping address important environmental challenges. So Jonathan, I know you've got a story about an AI project that's making waves in conservation. That's awesome. So take it away.
Absolutely. Yes, I do, Heather. Well, here's a fascinating example, like you said, of how AI is being used beyond the workplace that really helps solve real world environmental challenges. So there are about only 75 southern resident orcas remaining, and one of the biggest threats they face is underwater noise pollution. Because orcas rely on sound to communicate, hunt, and navigate, excessive vessel traffic can disrupt their ability to survive in the waters. Microsoft is working with researchers and conservation partners on an AI-powered system that listens to the ocean in real time, identifies orca activity, and helps provide insights that can reduce the impact of human activities that these can have on the endangered whales. The effort combines AI, bioacoustics, and environmental science to better understand and protect one of the Pacific Northwest's most iconic species. It's a powerful reminder that AI isn't just transforming how we work, but it's also helping tackle some of the world's most important conservation challenges. So again, to learn more about the project and the technology behind it, check out the full story at the AK link below. As we know, a lot of great work happening in the environment and in nature as well. And Heather, I want to come back to that first big rock around, you know, the STEM program that's being taken place. Is there any, you know, teacher or role model that you would say had the biggest impact on your life in terms of guiding you to the career that you have now in technology and at Microsoft?
Yeah, great question. You know, yes, absolutely. It's not just one, it's three. Robert Ledbetter, Donna Messina, and Joe Gerace. Softball coach, theater teacher, speech coach with Donna, and English teacher with Robert. They were all high school, Wheaton Central, go Tigers, Wheaton, Illinois. They all really encouraged us to use our voices. And through speech, through theater, and then learning about English and learning about our history. And I think all three of those seat me right here today, being able to do this with you and feel comfortable on stage, and also have curiosity and also conviction, you know, speaking about things that are important to me out in the world. All three of those teachers really shaped that for me. How about you?
Yeah. That's awesome. I would say for me, you know, outside of my parents, it was similar, you know, at the time when I was younger, playing sports, playing football. My football coach, he really became, you know, an instrumental person in my life. I found out much later down the line, we ended up going to the same college, joining some of the same organizations. So it was really a full circle moment, but to spend so much time with somebody that can, you know, bring out greatness and really push you to go to that next level. You know, those are some of the memories and, you know, the mindsets that I incorporated into life in the future and to where I am now. So yeah. Definitely shout out Coach Percy Walters. He'll know who he is.
Yeah. You know, Joe Gerace was the theater teacher and also my softball coach. So I had him, you know, multiple times. Yeah. Those there's something about a coach too, you know, that really takes you forward, I think, and helps you with repetition, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. That's great. Let's see. What do we have next here? Oh, I know. We said it at the beginning, but you know, I know, I'm like, we're so excited. We love to bring in experts here on Mondays at Microsoft to share deeper insights from products news to announcements and stuff. So it's time for our guest highlight. Yay. So our guest spotlight today is a great friend, a colleague, you know, and it kind of feels like everywhere you turn to people, you know, they're talking about AI agents. But, you know, once you get beyond the buzzwords here, many organizations are still asking the same question. You know, how do you actually build and manage and scale agents responsibly, which is so important. We want to have responsible AI. So to help answer that, I am joined by Michael Holste, who's been helping showcase Microsoft's growing agents and tools and experiences. So hello, Michael Holste. How are you?
Hey, Heather, I'm great. Hey, thanks for having me. Longtime fan of the show, longtime Microsoftie, longtime Microsoft community member, and really, really excited to be here and talk about agents.
That is awesome. So I'm just excited to have you here and tell us all about everything around agents. I know you've been working so hard on all of this stuff. So let us know what's going on.
Yeah, so right now my daytime role at Microsoft is helping bring demos and storytelling to life for Agent Builder, Copilot Studio, business applications, and apps and agents like Microsoft Scout. But right now, a lot of where we are is where customers tell us they love the idea of agents, but many really don't know where to begin. They think it's this huge technical load that requires tons of software devs and huge budgets. But many of the biggest AI wins are coming from curious employees who may be information workers or really close to business processes. You know, they do this stuff, they live in these kind of common business workflows, and they want to automate some of that, and they want to put the power of AI to work in their organization and to benefit themselves and, of course, benefit their organization.
Yep. That's awesome.
So right now, we have Agent Builder. We've just entirely redeveloped, kind of repositioned Agent Builder for our customers. It lives right within Microsoft Copilot, and it uses natural language process to be able to help any employee translate what they want to build into a real working agent that they can either use personally, or they can share with their team, or they can even share with their entire organization. It's really easy to get started, and we'll show you a demo here in just a couple minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. So, you know, we're often focusing on building an agent, and that's really only one part of the story. So what's that, you know, full agent life cycle look like? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so think of Agent Builder as just the front door to agent building. The full agent life cycle, you know, a curious employee, an information worker might start with Agent Builder, kind of their homebrew, do-it-yourself agent. We, of course, as we move up the value chain, or we move up from low code to some code to pro code, we also have a full suite of agent building tools in Copilot Studio and Foundry, which gives you all different types of knobs and whistles and access to thousands of models so that you can create and deploy full agents for your enterprise. And then, of course, we also have the admin experiences within both Copilot Studio, Power Platform and Workflows, and the Foundry control plane. And for the IT specific audience, we know that you need to have true observability. We want to be able to forensically look at everything that an agent is doing, all of its knowledge sources, all of the outputs and inputs, every other third-party tool it might be connected to. So we've also recently this year GA'd something called Agent 365, which you can find either in the Security Center, also in the Microsoft Admin Center, and it gives you a full look at your entire agent landscape in your company.
That's so cool. We, you know, Kendra Springer, who is a colleague of ours, on Agent 365, was on stage, and she gave an amazing demo of this back at TechCon Seattle this last week. So that was really cool to see all the new bells and whistle there. Thank you for the life cycle overview. But I think our audience is probably wondering what it looks like in practice. So just like the folks got at TechCon Seattle, rather than talk about it, will you walk us through how someone can go from their, you know, big idea to building an agent using Agent Builder? Will you show us a little bit? Yeah,
sounds great. And if we have just a couple minutes, we can go ahead and build our very first agent right now. All right, so in this demo, let's pretend I am a marketer, and I am, and I want to build an agent kind of authoritatively that can act, or that can answer any product FAQs for a new product we're going to launch. We'll call the product in this scenario the X1 Health Band. And I want to be able to give this to my sales team so they can help answer customer questions. And I have one kind of source document around the specs, and I have an FAQ that I've written almost like any PR team would ahead of a product they're going to launch. So I'm here in Copilot Studio, and I'm going to click on this agents button. or I'm sorry, I mean in Copilot, not Copilot Studio. I misspoke there. I'm just in a normal Copilot experience, same place I would go to chat and ask Copilot questions and collaborate with Copilot. Click my agents button, and I'm going to build a new agent. And now what's super user-friendly here is I don't have to start writing code. I'm just going to ask it, and I'm going to tell it what I want to build. So I'm telling my agent builder experience the type of agent I want this to be. So you're a launch assistant for our X1 wearable health band. I want you to help the team answer product questions and locate assets. And now it's really easy for me to just upload any supporting documents. So I'm just connecting my actual work that I do and natural language, and I'm going to turn this into an agent. I'm going to add one more piece of content here, and you can see it's really plainly called out. Easy to get started. Anybody can do this. And I'm going to go into my files, and it's going to pull directly, from either my documents or from my SharePoint files. Here I have this at the top already prepared, but this is just the device specs, do things like size, compatibility, maybe battery life, etc. And if I'm feeling good about that, I'm going to now let Agent Builder do its thing. And just like that, I get into the configuration screen, and I can rename this agent. It even took a first shot at naming it for me. It has a little bit of the about, almost this agent's biography here. And I can see the instructions that this spun up based on just those 2 sentences about asking what kind of agent I wanted. It has created this full set of instructions. And of course, I can edit this at any time. And then down below, I can see this knowledge tab. So I'm going to click into knowledge, and I want this to pull from our FAQ, and I want it to always cite its sources. So it says right here in the general guidelines, always cite your sources. And I'm going to scroll down. This all looks good. So just one FAQ connected, one spec document, and I'm going to create it. And just like that, I can see it's created. I can share this. Of course, IT admins have control over how this sharing is permitted. So mine is set that I can share it with anyone in the organization. I could also just share it with my team. I could also share it personally. I'm going to copy this link. And now I'm going to go to this agent, and let's give this a shot. So it actually even pre-wrote some templated prompts here to help guide users if they were just landing in this, if they want to answer a spec question, or they want to compare a product feature here, if they want to prep for a customer meeting. But for this one, let's just answer a spec question. What is the battery life of this X1? Provide a short answer, plus cite your details, and submit this prompt. And fantastic. I get the short answer right here, nice and crisp for me, up to 7 days in typical use, and even a couple tips on how to help reduce that battery usage, maximize my lifespan there. And as I scroll down into the kind of underside of the page, I can see exactly where that answer is coming from. It's citing its sources. I can click through to the original source content to verify if I need, and then it even provides me some follow-up recommendations. So that is a look at how easy it can be to take an idea, something like answering the same questions 100 times, which is something we all do at work. I can build an agent as a front end, and I can share that with a team. And now this agent can continue working on my behalf. And it only took me a couple minutes to set up. And we're seeing customers all over the planet really starting to transform the way their business works by putting some of their business processes into Copilot and letting Copilot take the reins.
That's so cool. I haven't shown you this yet, but I created an agent for this show. So
cool.
Yeah, so to help us gather content for the script, and to bring things together, and then shared it out with the team. And so Jonathan and I and team, use it to help us gather our content, which is really cool. So that's been really fun usage of the product as well. So yeah. So right here.
I want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure and show it to you for sure. That's awesome. So, if someone watching today wants to begin exploring agents, the cool stuff that you just did, where do they go?
I'd started copilot.microsoft.com. It's super easy. Click into that agents button and just give it a shot. Just try to describe, and you can be as detailed as you want, or you can hope to leverage AI to understand your intention. Of course, we also have a bunch of templates included in Agent Builder, and those are pulled from our customer experiences and just the common workflows that we see happening across M365 and the Microsoft Sphere products. But it's super easy. Copilot.microsoft.com. Natural language, add a single knowledge source, and boom, you've made your first agent.
That is so awesome. So I hope we're going to see you at an event soon. We always love it when you come to speak at the events, and as does everybody else. So it's been great to see you this morning. It's been too long. So yeah,
It's been so fun.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael Holste, for that awesome demo. And yeah, you can check everything out, everybody, at copilot.microsoft.com. What a great demo. So yay. As always, there's a lot going on at Microsoft in our technology space. So we are going to bounce into the In Case You Missed It section. So let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. Well, kicking off our In Case You Missed It segment today, here is a sports and technology story that really caught my attention. Microsoft has announced a new multi-year partnership with the Toronto Blue Jays, becoming an official partner of Canada's Major League Baseball team. Together, the organizations will explore new ways to create more engaging fan experiences using cloud and AI technologies. The Blue Jays already run their data platform on Microsoft Azure, and their partnership will now expand into both baseball and business operations, helping teams surface insights and make faster, data-driven decisions. Fans can also expect to see Microsoft Copilot featured throughout Rogers Center and across select Blue Jays experiences. So great branding placements and opportunities there. The partnership will also support communities across Canada through collaboration with the Jays Care Foundation, helping to create opportunities and new experiences for kids through baseball. So really cool story here, really cool partnership. And whether it's baseball fans in the stands or gamers at home, people are looking for more flexible and connected experiences altogether. Heather, I believe your next story is a great example of exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely. What a cool story. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's so awesome when we love, you and I both, having coaches and talking about sports, talking about how things, it's about building community, right?
Absolutely.
And, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this next story about Xbox is really cool. It's a new feature that brings a lot of the benefits of digital ownership to support disc-based games. And so starting with Xbox Insiders on August 31st, which is today, players can insert a supported Xbox One or Xbox Series X game disc and claim a digital entitlement and then access digital benefits without changing how the physical disc works today. So once claimed, eligible games can take advantage of features like Xbox Play Anywhere and Xbox Cloud Gaming where it's supported. So the feature is going to launch with thousands of titles, additional games expected to be added over time. And it's a move about preservation as well. Ensuring players can continue accessing the games they own as technology and gaming platforms evolve. This is great because you don't want like a piece of plastic that doesn't work anymore or a disc that's just junk, right? So I love this. I love preservation, and I love it that we're thinking this way. So definitely check that out. It's very, very cool. And I think Jonathan, is there a video game from your past that you loved? I will say I still have an Atari a gaming console, and I loved Pitfall and Enduro, and also the Kaboom with the paddle. So those are my Galaga if you're in the arcade.
Sure. So. Yeah, I'm familiar with them. My mom had an Atari in the basement. But my brother, I'm the youngest of four. My brother, he was an avid gamer, and he was very stingy sometimes about letting me play. So when he was away, I was sneaking go play his PlayStation, his GameCube, and I was huge on every single Zelda game that came out. I had to sit there, play for hours, beat every story mode. So, this day and age, they're doing a lot of revamps and redos of different games. So if they could redo that one and make it with the new graphics, new look and feel, I would be ecstatic. In the future, my kids would play that. So yeah, that would get me very excited.
Yeah, I love the old school stuff myself. So yeah, for sure. So yeah, cool. Well, we're gonna get into product and kind of keep going because we gotta whip through. And let's get to product news, Aaron, and take a couple of stories there. Let's do it.
All right, let's start today's product news in Microsoft 365 and AI. Here's a helpful PowerPoint update focused on making presentations more accessible. Smart art is commonly used to visualize processes, hierarchies, cycles, and relationships. But for people using screen readers, the text could be read aloud without clearly communicating how the different elements were connected. With this new update, PowerPoint can automatically generate meaningful descriptions based on the SmartOut's layout and content. For example, instead of reading A, B, C, a screen reader can describe an equation showing that A plus B equals C. So really showing that connection in the relationship in that sequence. These descriptions also update automatically whenever the smart art changes, reducing the need to manually maintain alt text. So this update is now available to Windows users with a Microsoft 365 subscription running PowerPoint version 2503, build 19729 or later. So all of the new updated versions of PowerPoint, you will be able to access this feature with the availability rolling out to other platforms over time. You can learn more in the Microsoft 365 Insider blog. So if you are not subscribed, please do check out the AKA link below and make sure you're tuning in for weekly news. There is also an amazing story that highlights how AI can help become more inclusive by better reflecting the languages that people use every day. Microsoft's AI for Good Lab, in partnership with the Gates Foundation, Google.org, and the Masakin African Language Hub, has announced the winners of the Lingua Africa Open Call. This initiative is focused on addressing a major challenge in AI today, which is that thousands of African languages remain underrepresented in data sets, models, and digital tools. The program selected 26 projects spanning more than 50 African languages, dialects, and sign languages spoken by over 500 million people across 47 African countries. These projects will create open language data sets, speech technologies, and AI-powered solutions supporting areas like healthcare, agriculture, education, public services, and access to justice. The goal is simple but powerful. Make sure AI works for more people by enabling communities to access information and services in the languages that they know best. So again, just really amazing stories about how we're connecting people, connecting cultures, and ultimately connecting communities across regions and across borders. So with that, let's shift over to business applications and the developer side. Heather, tell us what's going on over in that space.
You betcha. Absolutely. So, a couple times a year, this wonderful team puts out a new roadmap, and it is now called the AI at Work Roadmap for Dynamics 365, Power Platform, and Dataverse. And so, actually, as I say, the traditional twice a year release wave that I was talking about, the roadmap is now always on. So the roadmap that was twice a year, that gave updates as new capabilities, it's now going to an always on to give you a more complete and up-to-date view of the innovation pipeline. So this is going to be really cool. So you're going to be seeing kind of a rolling thunder kind of deal. So it's less about a specific feature and really more about major shifts in how we, Microsoft, communicate product innovation. So for the Power Platform and Dynamics customers, the roadmap is planning to become continuous, searchable, and increasingly AI powered, and that is coming soon to you on a surface near you. So that gets us into conferences, community events, meetups, learning opportunities, all happening everywhere. As you know, the best community tech. That is all of you. I want to give a shout out to all of our MGCI folks who are online. Nesha from Indiana, who is helping with all of our AKA links on the LinkedIn side of the house for our live show. So thank you to you all. Thank you to all of our Microsoft MVPs, always for your wonderful feedback. Most valuable professional, if you're wondering what that stands for. But a quick reminder for communitydays.org, Microsoft community, you want to stay plugged in between major events, community calls, AMAs, engagements, all of that. Community Days events are where it's at. That's our ecosystem of what's going on in free and low cost and also paid events, just like we were just at TechCon Seattle. TechCon Dallas is coming up in November. There's a ton of shows coming up, and I'll talk about those here in a second. DynamicsCon Regional is coming up, and it's happening in Ohio, August 25th. It's a great opportunity for anyone working in Dynamics 365 Power Platform to get some more information there and get those technical skills. Also, just like we were talking in the beginning, M365 Twin Cities is coming up September 18th, and Jonathan will be there bringing the Microsoft 365 community together for a day of learning, networking, expert-led sessions. I was just with Wes Preston and Sarah Hasse and Tamara Brandmus, who all work on on that show. So thank you all. It was great to see you in Seattle. I'm very excited for your show and for you, Jonathan, to be there, which is going to be awesome. And if you can travel last minute, Vancouver Microsoft 365 Summit is coming up on September 3rd, and registration closes today. So make sure and get your ticket ASAP. September is going to be another busy month. A lot of folks are back from, holiday and getting kids back to school. So just make sure you check community days, because there's probably something coming to a city near you. I think one of my favorite things about community events is the people along the way. Michael, Jonathan, come back on. We're going to do this question. So how about you, Holste? What's the most memorable connection you've made at a community event? What do you think?
Ooh, I'm going to go real quickly. I'm going to try and drop two of them. One, my very first one at SharePoint Conference 2014 in Las Vegas, when we were at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and great partner social events. And it really opened my eyes that there was this whole deep world to SharePoint and productivity space in M365. The community was so inclusive. It kind of set me on my career path, and I'm still in that community today. And then the most recent one that I was at was European SharePoint Conference in Dublin this last December. A tremendous event. That team puts on such a good time. A really powerful L200 content, and Dublin in Christmas time. If you ever get a chance to go to ESPC, I highly recommend it. It's always in a major European city.
Yeah, it was a rad show. And ESPC is coming up November 30th through December 3rd. We're going to be in Amsterdam this year. Jeff Teeper is the keynote. I totally spilled the beans, but not a shocker, right? So, and Holste, we have to get you there again. So, we got to do that, right? So make sure you're in for a breakout session. Jonathan, how about you?
Yeah, I would say too, the first is a little biased, so bear with me, but it was actually meeting you, Heather, at Microsoft Build in early 2025. And the reason that was so monumental is because that's when we had our first conversation about this team. You told me there was potentially a role open. You was like, hey, we should have a conversation. So that catapulted this new journey and this new role I'm in, running the community studio and being so involved in the community building aspect of our products and of our side of the team. So that was monumental for me. So thank you. And then the other was actually the most recent Microsoft 365 conference. I didn't meet anyone new, but I ran into somebody that I actually went to college with. And they said they came up a couple years behind me, and they said they've been, following my career, following my journey. So running into them at that conference, having the opportunity to catch up, hear that she's now in the tech space. It was just a great full circle moment. So yeah, Alicia Smith, if you're watching this, it was great to see you again. I hope to see you soon.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is fantastic. I think for me, just over the years, the continued belonging that is created by being in person together and, just seeing each other over and over again, so it's sort of like that wonderful, like you're talking about, it's like, hey, I've been seeing you forever. And so it's just being able to go to these shows and connect with people and hear their stories. We all have something going on behind our smiling eyes. And so knowing a little bit more about each other while we're doing, our work is super important. And so yeah, I just think, I love our online presence with Mondays at Microsoft and other things, but, there's just nothing like a real in-person event. And for me, it's just, I always get so excited to be there with everybody.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. That's awesome. As we know, we're always, in sessions, in meetings, but it's good to have that, that authentic in-person connection as always.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you're all duly invited to all of these things, and there's lots of free and low cost and virtual events on communitydays.org. And we've got some big events coming up. Ignite's coming up in November. That's in San Francisco, and so that's a virtual and in-person event. So lots of one-day free events that are community days or M365, and then also the events that we Microsoft produce, like Ignite and Build, like Jonathan was talking about. And I was like, you need to come join our team. So yeah, I totally did do that, and that happens, y'all. You meet people, you connect with them, and careers change. So just always think about that too. Like, there's always opportunities to connect with people. So that's awesome. So Mr. Holste, thank you so much for coming on and giving that demo, showing everybody how everybody can build an agent. You get an agent and you get an agent, right? So it's all good. And Jonathan, thanks for being the co-host while Caruana is still out on sabbatical. And thank you for covering for me while I was doing a little running around the world vacationing and seeing family in Michigan and other places. I really appreciate it. So, and you and Josh were awesome. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Of course, it's
Yeah.
a team effort. It's a community effort. So that's why we're
Yeah.
all here.
Yeah, it was so good. So, and Aaron, thanks in the background. So, when's our next one? I think it's next Monday since we're weekly, right?
Absolutely. Well, as you know, if you haven't already, you can always check out our show page to add upcoming shows to your calendar at aka.ms/Mondays at Microsoft. As Heather mentioned, our next show will be next Monday, September 7th at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So every week, grab that coffee, come and join us, and tune in for your weekly news. And as always, thank you for fueling your week with us. And we'll see you next Monday.